Hi, hello everyone, welcome to Healing Journeys. I'm Christelle Arya. On this channel, I share content related to indigenous knowledge, specifically African knowledge systems and of the diaspora. Well, as you can see, I'm back again recording videos outside. I was really looking forward to it. Today, I would like to share another episode of our courses, Building Community. If you don't know, there are like several videos related to building community in a, I would say, non-colonial, non-dominant way. You can find them if you look at courses on the channel, you will find those videos. And today I would like to highlight the focus on how patriarchy and misogyny prevent us, all of us, from building community or even nurturing the community that we may already have, developing maybe other communities or repairing relationships in communities and so on, how they impact lives in community, like how they impact communal lives. Well, we may not all be aware of how much we have, let's say, internalized patriarchy and misogyny. And this goes for all of us, no matter our gender or, I would say, orientation and so on. We all have been growing up, living in a world where patriarchy and misogyny are like so much put under the spotlight that it is, let's say, impossible that we haven't been impacted by that. And I think that I would say that the first point to have in mind, like to be aware that we, as a group, as a collective, and as a person, as individual, we have been impacted by patriarchy and misogyny, and that we have been growing up, we have been living. So it also means that we have been educated in dominant patriarchy and misogynist environments. And this is first important to be aware of that if we want to be able to look at where they are hiding in our behaviors, our thinking processes, our way to speak to each other, to interact with each other, and so on. Well, the first point is to be aware that we have been impacted by that and we have internalized patriarchy and misogynist thinking processes, behaviors, ways of speaking, ways of interacting. And a second step would be to look at them for ourselves first. It's always easier to look at them in other people, and yeah, it's obvious. But when it comes to us, it can be like, okay, I don't want to look at this. But this is what we need if we want, if we wish, if we are working towards dismantling and stopping patriarchy and misogyny. We have to look at them and within ourselves. First, to like be aware of how we live, how we act, how we interact, stop them or prevent them, or I don't know, like redirect them, replace them, and so on, right? And even most important, not replicate them, not transmit them. Like, I think the worst case is, and it's already obviously happening, right? Transmitting to new generations, patriarchy and misogyny. This is like a huge problem because it is one thing to fight against it, like, and to transmit it, it's even like uh, it's like fighting against a fight. I want to say, like, as if how can I say that? As if we are not not only like, it's not only like stopping or preventing the people engaged in fighting against patriarchy and misogyny, it's also like arriving this work and going against this work, and preventing this work to bring fruits, to bring something else, uh, another reality, a new reality that I hope, at least for the people following this channel, watching this video, that we wish, that we want, a reality where we don't have to live under patriarchy and misogyny. So it is very important to pay attention to that and to what we transmit, when we speak, when we interact with each other, when we write, I mean, when we express ourselves in any way that it can be, gesture and so on, the way we look at people and so on. And I'm sure that you obviously know and see how these have been impacting our community on a global scale, on like continental scale, national scale. You can look at even smaller scales, or even within families, homes, and so on. And even within ourselves, the way we interact with ourselves, right? And this, no matter your gender, the gender you have been assignated, or uh, the one that you choose, if you have chosen one. This has an impact in self-love, the way we see, we perceive ourselves, the way we encourage, discourage ourselves, right? So it is important to look at that, not only on an intellectual level, but we also want to look at it within our heart, like, how do we feel, even just by hearing these words, how do we feel when we think of patriarchy, when we hear the word patriarchy, misogyny? What do we feel? How do we feel? And what do we do, like, on a daily basis, maybe, to like change these patterns, behaviors that we have learned? What do we do, like, on a concrete level, like, what kind of actions do we have? I think these are important questions that we can ask ourselves. And if you are building a community, if you are in a community, are these questions, like, are they addressed in the community? Like, is there any space to discuss patriarchy, misogyny, gender-based roles, or to discuss like inclusion? Do you have like space in terms of time allowed to discuss these questions? Do you educate yourself about that? Do you read, learn about that? Have you ever attended a workshop, a lecture, an event, a conference, online, in person, about, like, what are patriarchy and misogyny? What is patriarchy? What is misogyny? How maybe the culture that you have lived in has misogynist behaviors, for instance. Yeah, can you name them? Do you know any of them? Like, are you able to, I don't know, recognize like misogynist behaviors, like maybe in movies or in a song, for instance. I think this is quite important to have that in mind, and to also practice this like on a regular basis. And maybe I'm going to end with this. If you are building a community, if you are in a community, how much space do you give for these questions to discuss patriarchy and misogyny? Not to like enhance them, of course not, but to discuss maybe their presence in the community, the strategy that you want to implement in order to dismantle them, and how are you going to address cases, situations when patriarchy and misogyny are going to be in place. Like what is going to happen when such a situation happens? Like, do you already have a plan, a strategy to address it? Or even in a company, if you work in a company, in an NGO, or whatever form of community, even in a friend group, like in a friend circle, how these are addressed. That's the question for the end. Hope to see you soon. Don't forget, let's take care of ourselves and of each other.